Okay, essentially, Website is an API, a web API, if you will, a quote-unquote REST API that allows to communicate to a Smalltalk system, and it aims at standardizing the way you can interact with a Smalltalk system. So the main and first application that appeared after or while we developed this API was a full IDE. So provided the target Smalltalk system implements this API, you can use this IDE for interacting. And this IDE is developed not in Smalltalk, it's developed in JavaScript using React. But as I said, it's just one application. This enables and opens door for other different applications like communicating system, different Smalltalks. I'm not going to show that. I had previously a funny experiment communicating to dialects. Or even now that we are in the middle of this AI boom, to try to put some sort of agent to talk to the Smalltalk system. So in our experience, this approach has proven useful for two scenarios. First, even when there are other options out there, like Telefaro is one of them, but for remote debugging. And in the case you don't have Telefaro, or you don't use Faro, you have this API again implemented in your Smalltalk, you can use it for debugging. The other case where we used it was for new runtime. There are people out there, crazy people creating new runtimes. So this is the case of Smalltalk, a new modular Smalltalk that Javier Dimas started. And I guess on Friday he's going to give a talk about it. So don't miss it. So I'm not going into detail because I want to share before finishing some other experiments that I've made on the AI field. But essentially, the API is well documented. Let me see if I can jump to here. The API is well documented. So all these endpoints that you see here, these are like areas where in which the endpoints are organized, like to retrieving code, to apply changes on the system, to issue evaluations, to retrieve and resolving objects. To create a debugger, create workspaces, run tests, profile, etc. So let me give you a short demo of this. Try to run this. Okay, so here is the, I have loaded locally the React application, and I have loaded here like 4 dialects, be Smalltalk, Dolphin, Egg, and Faro. Okay. Okay. So now you see. Okay. So let me increase the size. So as I was saying, I have here different targets. So I will enter in a couple of them. It's a really hard task to come up with a common ID for different dialects because this is, I think, a truth in the community. Everyone loves their own environment, and well, it's difficult. But essentially, the the different uh, um, basic tools, like for instance, a browser, refactoring browser, you can find in any other in any dialect is available here. Like for instance, I have a class browser. I can, I don't know, this is. Oh yes. Yes. Okay. So, we're saying, I don't know, typical searches, implementers, senders, whatever. Let me go up from here and go to another dialect like egg, for instance. Is more or less the same. Well, configuration is by target, so whatever. The package is loaded in egg currently. Yes. So, what else? Let's do debug something. Okay, debugger. This is P small target, and more or less the same. I mean, again, it's probably under discussion whether this is enough for B small talker in this case. Probably not, but yeah, every essentially the work was to try to again come up with a common set of functions and options. So let me go back to the presentation if I can, and okay, so I haven't complied, but this area, the changes area, is essentially a couple of endpoints that allows to apply changes to the system, and it's based on the old idea of refactoring changes or refactoring browser. So there is only an endpoint, a changes endpoint that allows to apply changes, and this relies on the fact that the target model has this framework implemented, like the changes implemented. So this talk is about the how to extend this environment, this API, and in turn the IDE. So extensions. There are many different extensions. I'll start by these changes, which is the ones that I was talking before. So let's go, for instance, to file, and you know there are like different refactorings and options available here, and these, for instance, are implemented by means of this kind of extension. So let's take, for instance, oh. There you turn by, and let's put something like, okay. So I was saying that there are here some options that were implemented by means of these extensions. So, for instance, let's suppose that we want to, I guess there is a class in File which is capsule. Okay. So here I have one of the hierarchies implementing refactorings. So let's suppose that we choose some of these. I don't know. Maybe this one. This option in Faro compiles two methods based on the variables of the class. So in order to bring this option, which is not available, this option, this refactoring applies on a class. So in order to make this appear through the API and bring it to the IDE, there is a method, a hook method, which is website extension on the class side. So let's take an example. Like this is a JSON object. Let's take this one, for instance. Copy and bring it here. And again, if you go to the documentation, this is pretty well documented. But essentially, this is an extension of type change because it refers to changes. And it applies an element. There are a bunch of elements where you can apply changes. And in this case, we wanted to apply it on a class. And let's put the name generate equal and hash here. And well, we don't need these. We only need the class name. The things that I put here in properties will reach the target whenever I hit the option on the front end. On the server will come in JSON, and the server will take them and instantiate, in this case, this class is generate equal hash blah blah blah. So so I have it applies on a class. I have this is a handy way to identify what type of change based on the name and class name, which is element name, because this expression between curly brackets are not free JavaScript stuff, but it's a handy way to access to properties of the elements. So the framework doesn't allow to put anything here except for a couple properties, right? So let's compile this and let's go to the instance side, and I will take from the superclass. This is the methods that are invocated when a class is again filled with the JSON coming from the client. So I will put here. I think this guy needs a variables. And I guess this guy has this method dClass that based on the class name searches the class system, and then instance where next. By the way, this auto completion and everything that is available on the client side relies on the API. So these the results of the auto completion are retrieved from the server, which well, depending on the latency, might be it ought to be deactivated. But so now we have, I think, everything in place. So if we go here, no, let's click in order to refresh the different class. So now we have this option generate equal and hash. So I don't know, let's create a new subclass lab in order to have some slots here, like I don't know, lab, and then on lab apply this refactoring. So again, this is just bringing to the front end, to the IDE, something that is completely dependent on the back end of this target Smalltalk, which is Faro, that has this richness, let's say, in terms of refactorings and changes. So this is, as an exercise, I essentially implemented almost, as you see, this was not the case, almost every refactoring that Faro offers, and in version 12, I guess. And some of them, for instance, let's see if we can grab one of these. Move to package, for instance. I'm not going to apply it, but this also offers the way to configure the parameters of the change. So, in this JSON specification, you can specify that the corresponding refactoring requires parameters, the type of the parameters, and in this case, how to fill the potential or the list of elements, the list of options for a given parameter. Like in this case, it is bringing all the packages and, I don't know, showing a list for the user to select. So again, the tricky part of PowerPoint. So well, there. Let's see the time. Okay. Let me show you another one. There are ways to. Let me go, for instance, to here. You know, this. You know, this is a JSON an implementation of JSON. Let's generate. Let's take from here to here. Inspect this, and well, this guy has this way to show. I don't know. I'm inspecting not the one that I wanted to. Let's put yourself. So let's bring this object. So this is the way this object is printed here. This is like the print string of this JSON, JSON object. So what we can do, this is another hook for extending. Sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm really curious. You could have in your API specifying the label selected pairs instead of imposing the menu. Why don't you change the API to interrogate the dialog to ask you what it wants on the menu?
Not sure I get your question.
So right now, the menus that you have in the browser in all of the tools, right, are fixed and defined in the JavaScript.
Part of them, yes. Part of them, no. That's part of the extensibility that I'm talking about.
Just about.
So this option appear once this endpoint. There is an endpoint to retrieve the extension. So originally, the bunch of options were fixed, and so the first question is how can we extend that dynamically, depending on your system, because every small detail. I mean, this journey through many different dialects, my takeaway is that the concepts are more or less the same. The implementation varies, and the options and the tools sometimes might differ. Some, for instance, you have traits here, you don't have traits there, right? So how to increase the flexibility of the tool in order to make this possible. So what I was going to show is there is another hook, which is a website. This prefix, this alt prefix, is just for clarity purposes. I think it's website views, something like that. Yeah. So let's take one of them. Again, JSON specification that goes through this API. I don't want this amount of stuff. Just one. So here. So let's take this one. So there are a bunch of available view types that you can take advantage from. Like for instance, JSON. So I will put here like JSON as title. I will put JSON or whatever. I don't want to put anything variable here, and no columns. You know, I know because I've worked in defining this. So, but again, this is well documented, so there's no need to remember all this stuff. So let's take super website views and this presentation and temporary variables. Okay. So let's see now our object. If I click, well, fail, demonstrate, I meant to fail. Okay, but the point is that at that point we were expecting to see the JSON view of this thing. So going back to the presentation, and almost out of time. So again, there are many different ways to extend it, like themes. Exports are the way that we can define, for instance, file outing a class or a method. Well, again, these are options that are exposed through the API and then are brought to the client ID in this case. Searches, they're I'm not sure if I have the time for that. So I was how much time do I have? 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay. So I was doing and trying different funny tests using AI, and for instance, generating tests from code, the other way around, generating code from tests, meaning that the code generating code that passes a given test suite. So, well, I'm not going to have the time, but in terms of, this is something that I wrote yesterday about to start the discussion about how these tools. Sadly I don't have time to show you the experiments live, probably tomorrow. But the point is, this is an opinion. I don't have strong arguments about if we should go after use, or I would say yes. I think we should go after some way of incorporating AI into Smalltalk environments. Even when, again, probably this is a boom and this is just a tendency, I'm sorry. But in my experience in this test, I ran a couple benchmarks. It's better than nothing. It's like, it's better than starting from the blank page. Sometimes they, and even when they might produce nonsense results. Let me see if I can just stop talking and let me go to file, for instance. So let's do this. Let's create a class. Let's search for test case and create a, I don't know, whatever. And then, oh, I'm sorry, I should put test, not that test. And then create, oh, right, more errors. Okay, let's take this. And let's write something like, I don't know, one name, and then AAA, self new AAA, and then self insert AAA name. Let's say AAA name. Okay, view A's equals A, then compile these as instance variable because we want to set up. Let's write a new test. This is AA person, so H, and then I have name H, and an arrow, and H equals. This is really stupid, I know. Yeah. There you go. And then say something. Say something. So AA say something. Oh, okay. Repeat. And then something like repeat blah equals blah. So okay, so following a TDD approach, we can run this and compile here in the debugger, etc., etc., etc. But let's run these funny things. Let's see what model I'm using. There is this code assistant. In this case, this is a free service called Rock with this model and some parameters. And let's generate that. So here it has proposed code for, let's say, making this test pass. So let's copy that. Let's bring that. For the moment, it's not automatic. So let's create a new class. New class, yeah. AAA. And then, well, select it. AAA. No, why disappeared. And let's bring this stuff. Yeah, let's bring it. So, just a second. Yes. Oh, temporary though. Just want it. Instance variable. And then the same for this. Well, you see the code looks like healthy. Even when this is a stupid test, we can make the test more complex. And then go back here and try to run this new AAA. Well, I will implement it myself. AAA. That's all. So if we run the test, well, the code already looked healthier. So yeah, we can, I don't know, we are out of time. Okay. So I guess I can. Well, this is the future work, but since I'm out of time, if you have any question, thank you very much.
Hi. Did you ever take a look at using this for a IDE for Gemstone?
That is the next step, yes.
Okay, all right. Good, cool idea.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much.